Do 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 do. What's up? What's happening? How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? It is Therapeutic Thursdays. See, I told you. Look, I'm gonna get this down pat. I promise you guys. Manhood Mondays, Teaching Tuesdays, Wisdom Wednesdays, Therapeutic Thursdays, right? And then we got Freedom Fridays. How's that sound? How's that sound? How's that sound for size, huh? Does that work out? I think it sounds pretty well, guys. Really good themes. Guys, like the video. As soon as you enter the room, like the video, hit the like button. It takes literally a modicum of just a second, just a split second. Pop. That's all you got to do is hit the like button. Share it out if you will too. Appreciate that. Don't forget to hit the notification bells, all that jazz. You guys already know. YouTube has this really odd, peculiar way of sort of, unsubscribing people. I don't know, certain kind of content, just doesn't like, stuff like what we talk about over here. You can't really let this disseminate out into the masses for some reason. It just may help some people out there. We don't want to do that, right, YouTube? Yeah. All right, guys. First one in the chat, we'll get a shout out. First one in the chat, we'll get a shout out. Mama Carol's in the house. How you doing, Mama Carol? Appreciate you. Barbara, how are you, Miss Barbara? How are you? Hope you're doing well. Oh, yeah, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I send positivity and love your way. Hope everyone had a great day today. I get it. Our weather, well, if you guys are in like the Midwest area where I am, our weather is going to take a turn for the worse pretty soon. So I've just been outside soaking up all the sun. Like, you know what? Screw it. It might be good. Brenda. Well, Brenda, I am a Christian, but I have to make the distinction. I'm not one of these do-gooder Christians. You know what I'm saying? Christ came here to the world and he was amongst the sinners. Okay. He didn't hang around with the Sadducees or the Pharisees all day. Those scripture lawyers. So I am a Christian, and some of the things that we talk about over here falls in the realm of Christianity. So however you want to construe it, I wouldn't particularly call it a Christian program, but I am a Christian man. So hope that answers your question. Mama Carol said, I got another hurricane. Oh, Lord, no, not another hurricane. Come on now. We don't need that. We do not need that. Hopefully it wasn't so severe. That would not be cool. That would not be cool at all. Let's see who else we got here. Kathy. Hello, Kathy. I'm glad you're here. Appreciate you guys. You guys are, you know what? You guys are so loyal. I really appreciate all of you. You guys are always here. First ones in the chat. I'm going to remember you. All right. Trust me. Sometime in this lifetime, sometime in my lifetime, this channel goes where, does exponentially well. You guys are going to be right there at the front center of it. I promise you. So I'm like, these guys been with me since day one. Like, come on. These are my day ones over here. Appreciate that, Kathy. Well, we love you too. I love you too, guys. I love you guys too. I appreciate it. So guys, I want to put this up here really quick. So I just want to jump into it. Tonight's topic is make sure. There we go. Did your parents traumatize you? And that's going to kind of segue into what I really want to talk about, which is forgiveness, guys. Listen, I understand that we all have our own interpretation of what forgiveness is, but I believe that forgiveness is a powerful ancient concept. It's a powerful tool that I think very few of us use today and quite understand today, because I think that's one of the tools to allow us to unlock our true inner selves, our spiritual selves, get us closer to our higher self. And, it's really about being able to relinquish all of the baggage and the trauma and all that stuff we've accumulated throughout the course of our lives, and to be able to let it go, and a lot of us struggle with that, including, yours truly. Trust me, I have my baggage. But I want you guys to see this quote here. Brenda, this is some of the Christian this is the Christian aspects of my show, because I like to kind of predicate a lot of my broadcasts, typically these topics, on scripture, and I'm going to start it here. So if you guys just read what this says: if your brother or your sister sins, go and point out their fault just between the two of you. If they listen to you, you have won them over. Matthew 18:15. I'm going to say that again. If your brother or your sister sins, go and point out their fault just between the two of you. If they listen to you, you have won them over. Okay, so guys, what is that? So much is encompassed in just those little what how many lines? 5 lines, 5 sentences there. So much is encompassed. So now, brother, sister, now this can extend, of course, to uncles, mom, dad, cousins, all that. It's just they're talking about just brother. We're all brothers and sisters in the flesh. Okay, so if you don't understand that, then just put it on the shelf, and we'll talk about that another time. But we're all ideally supposed to be brothers and sisters in the spirit. So it's speaking to whomever might have offended you or caused you to resent them and to generate that anger and that contention that you have towards them. What is it being, what is being instructed here to do when you find yourself in that situation? You are to go to that person and to sit down with them and to tell them their fault. All right, now the sit down part I added okay, but you can be standing up too, but what I'm essentially saying is you don't fester that, you don't sit on it, because if you allow that to fester, it's going to manifest itself out in your behavior, how you treat people, how you treat yourself, and just overall your overall quality in life. Because again, you're anchored to this angst, this resentment, and often you hear a lot of people say today, well, I just let it go. I don't really need to talk about it. They're just not really a real factor in my life. Well, you are at least given an opportunity. You are at least instructed to go and attempt to tell your brother or your sister what their fault was. Okay? This is important. This is very, very important, because I think a lot of people could really benefit and gain a lot of value just by simply adhering to this scripture here. Um, it kind of reminds me of a situation that I had personally with with my own mother. So look, I've been transparent with you guys about my background. I grew up in a single mother household. I was the eldest of three. I took care of my brothers. My mom pretty much dubbed me the man of the house, and that's a lot of pressure for a 13-year-old. So I always thought that I'm gonna try to make my mother proud, right? I want to take care of my brothers. I'm gonna make sure they ate, make sure the house is clean, make sure all of my quote unquote manly duties have been met. My expectations, the expectations that she had of me were being met. And unbeknownst to me, that I didn't know that responsibility that she gave me was not really my responsibility. I just thought that it was my mission to take on, to shoulder that responsibility, because my mom didn't have any other help. She didn't have any other assistance. Now she did have my grandmother, but oops. Now my grandmother did. My grandmother would also reinforce the same responsibilities onto me, like, hey, take care of your mom, keep your brothers out of harm's way, things like that. And that isn't an unimaginable amount of responsibility for someone that's still in their early adolescence, and they're supposed to be living out their young childhood, right? Now, I didn't know how much this would actually like shape my personality. I still have this protective sense about me, where I always want to take care of my brothers and protect and protect and protect. In part, I believe that's part of my masculinity, me being a male and getting closer to my purpose and knowing myself. But it took a while for me to get to this point, because I still felt an obligation, a moral obligation, to make sure that I would prioritize my family and helping everyone else above my own needs, you know, and it became very overwhelming. It really, I succumbed to um I succumbed to just feeling very disappointed in myself because, things were happening with my brothers, my mom, she had things going on, and there was nothing I can do but to, I was helpless in a situation because, I'm not Jesus Christ. I can't save anyone, but that was the desire that I had, because I was like, you know, I have the capacity to fix this. I want to fix it. I want to fix it. I want to make it right. And, you know, although, some might call that noble, but I still think it bears a lot of weight on a child. I think it's a lot of responsibility to accept at that age, especially when you're supposed to be knowing yourself and starting to grow and learn about the world and the people you associating yourself with. And that's a whole nother story in itself. But yeah. But anyways, fast forward to today. I had to have a sit down with my mother and I had to talk to her about these things. And I will say that leading up to the conversation with my mom, you know, I didn't really have the words that I wanted to say to her. I didn't know exactly what I was going to say, but I knew I had to forgive her. I had to forgive her for causing me to have this resentment. Like, you know, I didn't get to really fulfill my own childhood, or fulfill my own life as a youth. I had other things. I had to attend to the deficiencies of her parenting, of what she was lacking. Um, but yeah, nonetheless, so I sat down with her and I told her, like, I apologize for resenting you. I apologize um having this anger towards you. And I didn't know it was the anger until I got to know myself more. And the more I started to know myself, I started to detach from these prior responsibilities, these prior obligations that have just been inculcated into my very being. Like, this was a part of me. I had to, and I had to learn how to let go and to learn about myself and what I want, what did I want to desire, what what was who was I, who am I? You know what I'm saying? My mom, I, I don't know the way she received it. It was kind of nonchalant. It was like, I did the best I can, da 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 da. And I guess for what it's worth, I took that, and I didn't expect her to I didn't expect her to apologize. I just knew that I wanted to apologize for her because I was the one that had the resentment. I was the one that had the anger. I was the one that was, not where he was in life, because I had my focus on, making sure my family was okay. And this is my brothers, my sisters, and everyone like that. And like I said, the way she received it, it was like, yeah, well, I don't know why you're mad at me. And I was like, it's that that's such a that's so surface way of that's such a surface way of like understanding where I'm coming from. But I didn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, well, it's not that I'm mad at you. It's just that, throughout the course of my entire, my adolescence, and even throughout some of my adulthood, I've been prioritizing the needs of you and my brothers over mine. And this is in part because this is what I've been conditioned to do since I was young. And she took it, and I had the same conversation with my father. Now my father, woo, we didn't go so well. Didn't And surprisingly, it didn't go so well. And funny enough, I have more of an open relationship with my father than I do with my mom. And I would say that because I didn't really get to establish a really good relationship with my father until later on in life, probably like early 20s. That's when I got to establish a pretty decent relationship with my father. So I figured, all right, this is to be a pretty frank conversation, candid conversation I can have with my dad, and he'll understand. But my dad, wow, he didn't take it too well. He didn't take it too well. Now, guys, keep in mind, I was just doing exactly what I was instructed to do. I felt that I had been offended because my mother had placed all this responsibility on me, and my dad, he wasn't there in the picture. So that in itself caused me to resent him because he wasn't there. He wasn't there to shoulder this responsibility, and it fell on me. So I talked to him, and that kind of went south. So, um, and again, guys, this is something that's for you. It's not for necessarily for the parents. I mean, it's good information. It's good for them to know that this is how you feel. But again, the forgiveness is not for them. It's for you to relinquish yourself from the pain. All right. Um, so yeah, it was quite interesting, guys, and I'll talk about it a little bit more. I try to be as open as I can with you guys because I don't want you guys to think that I'm just faking the funk out here. I gotta walk it like I talk it. But anyway, so I want to play this video, guys. I had a really 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 interesting dialogue with this woman. She is, well, she said she was a lesbian, right? But what really stuck out to me the most during the course of the conversation is that you could tell that she still currently has some internal conflict, in part due to her upbringing with her father and her mother and things like that, and how it all kind of trickled into the decisions that she's making today. So I'm gonna play this video, guy. I mean, play this this interview that I had with this woman. It's very very insightful, and I hope that you guys can get some value. Um, oh, and I'm gonna intermittently stop and kind of chime in and kind of elucidate a little bit throughout the video. Okay, so here it is, and I haven't posted this. You guys are gonna be the first to watch this, so I hope you guys, like I said, I hope you can gain some value from this, and yeah, we can all all together get a good understanding of this concept called forgiveness and being able to let that trauma go. All right, hold up. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? All right, here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's do this. There we go. Let me know if you guys can hear it. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear the video. Put a 1 in the chat if you can't. Put a 2 in the chat. I'm gonna say that again. If you cannot hear the video, put a 1 in the chat. If you can't, excuse me, if you cannot hear the video, put a 1 in the chat. If you can hear the video, put a 2 in the chat. All right, here we go.
Like, that's real life.
No, that's the problem.
No,
See,
no.
Let's run it back.
You said you don't like men?
I do not.
Oh, are you lesbian?
I wouldn't say I don't like it. I wouldn't say I don't.
Oh, real quick, she's gonna jump. I know you guys can't really see her. I know you can't see her, but she's gonna come closer into the light. As we get more further into the conversation. So just listen more so to what she's saying.
Like, man, I think that just over time, I've just kind of closed myself off, and I just never tried it. Like, I do want to have kids, but as of right now, yeah, I'm gay.
Wait a second. So how are you gonna have kids then?
Well, I talk to God a lot. He told me, like, I put you on this earth to reproduce, not prideful in my.
Wait a second, guys. I am not going to continue this video if y'all don't get them likes up right now. Hit the like button. Go to the YouTube. Go subscribe. If you have not subscribed, what are you doing? We are going to be enemies if you don't hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. All right, come on. We're sharing some deep stuff here. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. TheRealUnwoke. TheRealUnwoke, in case you forgot. And hit the like button. Get them likes up, everybody. Come on now.
Ways, and so I feel like I have a responsibility. But it's hard, when I'm a prideful young lady that just wants to be gay and live my life and have a wife, but God doesn't agree with that. So here I am, just stuck in a hard place.
Oh, wow. So what do you think the first steps are for you to transition?
So basically, she's saying she wanted to have she's lesbian. She's part of that LGBTQ community, right? But she wants to have children. And I asked her, I said, how are you going to have children if you're in that, you're living that particular lifestyle? And now she's going to go into how she wants to transition out of that lifestyle. So here we go. That's what I asked her. I said, so how are you going to transition out of that lifestyle?
I would say, like, sometimes, like, I need to just be still and let God do His work. For me, like, sometimes I force things and it puts me in a bad position, and then it's like I'm stuck. And it's like, I told you. God be like, I told you. Just chill. I got you. And it's like, no, God, but I gotta do this. I gotta prove this. So, yeah.
Have you ever been with a man?
No. I mean, I've had like boyfriends like back in the day, like in school and stuff, but I will always end up like fighting them and stuff. So, everybody used to call me like, and I think as a, growing up, like just being a sports person and kind of aggressive, like a lot of people put things on me that I accepted and just carried.
No, that's not normal. I'm sorry. I'm pushing back to anyone that says a young girl, a young little lady, right? A young woman is just naturally aggressive. Okay. That to me indicates there's some trauma because that's a fight or flight response. When a young girl has to exhibit this aggressive nature, that's a fight or flight response. That's a coping mechanism.
So I'm just trying to get out of that. Stop carrying all that aggression on me. All that.
Okay, so you think that this lifestyle might have been self-induced, something you just kind of went along with because everybody perceived you that way.
Yeah, like I remember being in kindergarten and being a tallest girl in the class and people calling me Shaq. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I was always the one playing basketball or just doing some wild stuff. So. And I remember this lady told me, like, you're a boy stuck in a girl's body. Yeah. People calling me a boy all my life.
Right.
Just accept
and so,
that.
Yeah, so subconsciously, you just kind of just went along with it. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. But did you ever feel like something was not right about this? So basically, her entire upbringing, she's been told that she's something that she's not, right? Everyone she's been involved with has completely labeled her in some form or fashion. They said you act like a dude, you're masculine, you're aggressive, things like that. So over time, she's gradually started to believe this. And this only happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you don't have a sense of security and or a foundation that's supposed to be built by the parents. If you don't have that stable foundation, from a loving mother or a father, you're susceptible to picking up these identities and basically seeking out that identity outside of yourself as opposed to inward, knowing yourself. All right. Like this whole time. Yep. Or did you never feel that way?
I mean, I feel like growing up, I never really acted on my feelings or like tried to be anything. I've always just been myself, but now it's like I begin to try to live up to that stud word or that dyke word or that tomboy word, and it just doesn't work for me. Like I realized my life like begin to fall apart when I begin to like really embrace those things that people put on me. Like, why am I embracing that now? Like, why am I trying to be that? Why am I trying to live up to that? And I realized like that was fit for me in the first place. So I'm literally like, I feel like right now I'm trying to get out of that world, that gay world I like myself in, or try to wear. That makes sense.
Right.
And just come back to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like God, he made me like aggressive and athletic, but it doesn't mean that I have to be a boy, you know. So
Yeah. How did your parents? How was your up?
All right, guys. So everything you heard her say so far, as far as how she's treated by people within her environment, around, people that she's you know she's been around throughout the course of her life. She's talked about that. Now she's going to talk about her upbringing, and it's all going to circle back. Check it out.
Bringing with your parents, like how did they treat you?
um, so I grew up in church. I was mostly raised by my mom. I grew up
Mm.
in church, like watching her sing and stuff. But yeah, my dad, he's more like in the streets and stuff, and they both like don't agree with you know that lifestyle. It is what it is.
It is
Okay.
what it is. Anytime I hear that phrase, it is what it is, instantly I think, okay, they have completely numbed themselves from confronting the reality of the situation. They've completely numbed themselves to the pain of realizing that you're not worthy. You're not worthy. Okay. Now, I think the problem is in regards to this particular situation, as far as her being part of, the LGBT community, and being a lesbian. Sometimes parents, we don't know how to separate that from the child. Now, I'm not in no way, shape, or form endorsing or advocating for parents to be accepting of their children, who's part of that lifestyle. I'm not saying accept the lifestyle. I'm saying still love the child. You have to still love the person, right? The sin is separate from the person. You can love the person without accepting that lifestyle, you know?
Okay. Um, okay, on some level, do you think that you might have been rebelling against everyone and everything?
Yeah, I I definitely feel like I was very rebellious. Still kind of am, you know.
Yeah.
But now it's like me doing that now. It just puts me in horrible, weird positions that I just don't need to be in. Like you could have just, I don't know.
Like
Like I'm
like
still trying to prove a
like
point.
what, for example? Give me
Yeah.
one of these weird predicaments.
Mama Carol, no, don't feel uncomfortable about that. These things are spirits. They grab a hold of you when they see that you are weak and vulnerable. That's one of the attractive qualities that demons look for. They look for the weak, the downtrodden, right? And particularly those who don't know themselves. If you don't have a sense of identity, right? If you are completely and utterly consumed by your trauma and you can't see a way out, these demons look for those type of people.
That you find yourself in.
Like just like feeling like mom. Like I live with my mom. I'm not gonna lie, right? I live with my mom, but like sometimes I feel like I'm too comfortable here, and maybe like she's holding me back.
Hmm.
Like by me living with her, like and so like I'll just like move out like spontaneously, and then I'll end up like homeless, and then it's like, oh, okay, like you did that, now you gotta come back home and like apologize, and like it's like why did I do that? Like what made me like even
What
leave in the first
See
place?
there? What made her do that? You guys ever do something that you knew you shouldn't have done, but it was like you were overcome or compelled to do it by some sort of some force or something, right? That's because it's not you. It's not you. It's the spirits that have made a home in you. There's a spirits that have completely taken over your being, your essence, who you are, and it's found a home, a shelter in you, right? and you feed it even more, you feed the monster even more, traumatized you are.
Like, you should have just been patient. Like, I just get these rushes of energy sometimes, and I just gotta move. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Would you describe it
My
as
eyes
like
go, man.
would you describe it as like thrill seeking?
Yeah. Like, sometimes I feel like my life is just so boring, and like I just need to do something. Like,
Gotta be active.
I just
Gotta
need
be,
to do something.
and that's a coping mechanism too, ladies and gentlemen. Gotta be busy. Gotta stay out there in the action. Gotta be moving about to and fro. Right? You can't sit still, because you know if you sit still long enough, the reality starts seeping in. The reality of your situation starts seeping its way into you, into focus. Then you have to confront it. And most people don't have the wherewithal or the spiritual foundation to confront that. So they just look, they have to find other coping mechanism, other ways to numb themselves from it. Did you guys move around a lot when you were younger? Like, did you guys move from place to place? Like, there was a lot of instability.
Kind of, but not really. Like we had a few houses, but like we were pretty stable. Like,
did you ever
at the same time, but I struggled. We struggled a lot.
Did you ever yearn to have a relationship with your father?
That's crazy. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, me and and that's the thing. So I moved out of my mom, right, to go live with my dad, but he's a crackhead. So it put me in a weird position, because it's like he's like, I feel like I'm 24, so it's like he's still bitter at my mom, so he tries to use me to like get back at her, and he puts me in weird positions. But it's like, bro, I'm just trying to have a relationship with you. I don't want to be in y'all restaurant, but
Yeah.
He's a crackhead. He wants to sell crack.
Send me an email, Alicia, if you're interested. Send me an email. It's on my YouTube page. You can reach out to me there.
Yeah, I don't want to be around that. How can a crackhead sell crack? So I feel bad for him, and I went back to my mom.
It's amazing that it's amazing that when people are talking about these very like traumatic situations in their life, they still can find the ability to keep it lighthearted. It's like, yeah, whatever. It is what it is. He's a crackhead. It's just, I don't know. It's so much being masked, I think, when you have to put on that face to kind of like mask the pain. You know what I mean?
I'm safe here. Like, this is where I need to be right now.
Yeah.
This is normal. This is normal. Yeah.
Okay, so your mom, does she? So she keeps the door open for you, and you're thinking that staying at your mom's house is keeping you complacent.
Yeah, sometimes I get that feeling, like I feel like I'm stuck and I'll never leave here because I'm so comfortable, or like I'll never like try to be my best because I know like my mom got my back, or I got something to fall on. So
yeah,
push me in this comfortability space. So
she's enabling you. It sounds like.
Sometimes she says that, but she just lets me back in, and she looks at me like, she's experienced my dad. So she, I remind her a lot of him in my unstable ways. I can be, a little, I don't know, a little wild. So she tells me like, like when you leave, when you walk out, it's like him walking out the door again. I'm like, damn.
So then that makes perfect sense as to why her mom is keeping her there and enabling her to stay there. Is because she sees her father in her. The mother sees the father in her. So that's why she's not, she's not pushing her to get out there, better her life, and do something with herself. She's welcoming, like, come on back home to mama. Come on back home. And that, oh my gosh, ladies, mothers out there, that can be the most crippling thing you can do for a child, is to keep him, excuse me, is to keep him just uh in a constant state of perpetual complacency. That's dangerous. Dangerous, especially to a man. Wow.
I think she kind of looks at me like him and is like, okay, I don't want her to be that. So
Do,
so she like keeps giving me chances.
do you
Like,
do you still think today you have anger and resentment?
yeah, to my dad, yeah, but
And you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? I asked her, do you think that do you think that you still have anger and resentment? She said immediately, without she didn't even bat an eye. She just immediately said yes towards my dad. But who is the real villain here? Who's the one that's keeping her stuck, right? Enabling her to descend further and further into the depths of the obscure of not knowing herself. Mom. Now, listen, absent fathers definitely have an impact. Trust me, it does. It has, and I've talked about this ad nauseum on my channel before, but the mother is there, right? You hear it sort of pushed out in our society. Hey, I raised my child and now they're, pursuing their master's degree and higher education, so on and so forth. Okay, you get the accolades and you get the kudos for the child doing well. So you have to be equally responsible for if that child does not do well. You have to take the fault for that as well. Now, look, this is a grown woman, okay? When she's reached the age of accountability, she's therefore responsible for her own decisions. But when you don't have a foundation to stand on, you don't have a leg to stand on, then you are, oh my gosh, you are pretty much at the you're at the mercy of the world, essentially. And your environment is going to shape you. Your experiences are going to shape you.
that's about it, really.
Hmm. Well, just
Like
hearing
I
it.
did like I took some paragraphs and stuff, like, you know,
Have you ever tried going to
just
him and
everything.
have you ever tried going to him and forgiving him for causing you to resent him?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like me trying to build a relationship and still coming around you, like that's forgiveness. I feel like, but then it's like when you break my heart all over again, you keep doing it. It's like fuck you again. It's like we just started all over.
Yeah, so when you just putting yourself in close proximity to him and you're trying to form a relationship, that's not necessarily forgiveness. Forgiveness is actually telling him the whatever it was that caused you to resent him and communicating that to him and forgiving him for causing you to hate him and to be angry with him. So you have to verbalize that. It's not, and I hear what you're saying because I tried that with my father myself. Just, I didn't have really a close relationship. And I thought just being around him more, getting to know him, that would build up our relationship. But
Yeah,
I know now that you have to actually verbalize to them, to your parents, exactly what it was that caused you to resent them.
Yeah, and
And
that's
you
so
forgive
important.
them. And that's what I said before, guys, in the beginning. You have to go to your brother and sister, and in this case, it's the mother or the father, and tell them, verbalize to them what it was. Only you remember those intimate moments, those memories, right? That are just embedded into your psyche. Only you remember those moments where you like it really impacted you and it left an impression onto you, which is that's that resentment, that's that trauma. So how would they know if you don't share it with them? How would they know where they went wrong if you don't release that? So that's why that's why God says it's better to go to them and to tell them of their faults And if they listen, you'll gain a brother or a sister.
Them because they can't help themselves.
Wow. And that's the thing. It was like I keep expecting him to be like the superhero that I imagine. You know how you just imagine this perfect dad? It's like, okay, I get it. You'll never do that.
Yep.
And it's like I never accepted that he, you know, who he is. He's like just a grimy person. I'm like, I just couldn't accept it. But
yeah, and that's the thing. You don't have to be friends with them.
And you hold up, Karen, you hit a really good point there. Listen, our parents could not help themselves. It was a generational spirit that has been passed down to throughout the lineage, from generation to generation to generation, right? And if that spirit isn't rebuked, if it isn't removed, it's just going to pass on and transfer into the next generation, to the child, to the children, right? So you're right. This, I think, her mom, this woman's mom, might have had some. She might have had a troubled upbringing as well, where her parents fell short, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's a vicious cycle. Every day, I mean, you can love them from a distance, but I think the forgiveness more so is for you, so you can release yourself from that prison. Because right now, it sounds like your soul, your spirit is being contorted and pulled in all different directions right now, and that's why you feel so antsy and will have this need to want to get up and pounce around and get up and move about, and you can't find that moment of stillness because your soul is being tortured right now because you still got this anger bottled up, and it's not healthy to just suppress it because it's going to get worse later on.
yeah, that's real, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, forgiveness is a powerful tool. It's for you though. It's definitely for you. It ain't for them because tomorrow they're gonna be the same. But you're gonna be different because you're gonna start letting go of that anger. I just think this will help assist
Yeah.
you in this path to, finding yourself back to God and following His way. Because your connection is going to be blurred, and God ain't going to be able to facilitate that transition with you because you still anchored to something.
Mm,
You feel me?
yeah, that is true.
Let me. But I wanted to. Can you talk a little bit real quickly about like the LGBT community and like being around it, being like enveloped in that?
So yeah, now she's gonna talk about the little bit about just being in that life, basically where this trauma has led her into, and you're going to start seeing some of the decisions that she's made and the behavior patterns, guys. And remember the foundation that she said out the gates at the beginning of the interview. She had a rough upbringing. She was bullied and taunted all throughout her youth, right? She says she has a difficulty being still, sitting still, and she has an enabling mother, and her father's not there in her life. Now you're going to hear, as a result, as a grown woman, some of the choices that she's made and some of the behavior patterns thereof, lifestyle, and those folks. If you could share, just what's it like?
I'm gonna say this: like, I'm not in the community. I don't really hang around.
Okay.
Gay. I don't have a lot of gay friends, honestly.
Okay.
Like my Christian family. You know what I'm saying? So
I got you.
Like what I'm really around is, but I would say being in a gay relationship is very. It's just I'm speaking for myself because I know everybody goes through like hardships in relationships. But I would say like my last relationship with a woman was like very destroying. It kind of destroyed me.
Wow. Why?
Honestly, we were not equally yoked. We were not meant to be
not
together.
Equally
so
yoked.
When you do things and
you start to see you are who you attract. You are who you attract. So she's attracting people she's not equally yoked to, right? So that means that she's broken. So you're gonna attract broken people.
performing acts against God and you having sex with people,
Mm.
those spirits, like you ushering in spirits, you just not like vibrating on the high level, and so it's bringing you down. And then like, girl had some kids. It was just a lot of drama.
Yeah.
It almost blew. It's like the relationship just when it started, it was so intense and it felt so good. Like by the
Hmm.
end, it was just like we hated each other and wanted to rip each other's necks off.
Mm. Had it ever gotten to a point where you guys were uh, involved in domestic violence with each other, like physical altercations?
Yep.
Yeah, they say that domestic violence cases are higher in same sex relationships than heterosexual
That's true.
relationships.
Yeah, the stats are crazy.
Yeah. And with that, and I'm not like I'm gonna just break the story down. How it ended was with I always like the whole time like I would spend time with her and her kids, and then I would ghost her because like I just felt like totally drained. Like
Mm,
after the time I was with her, like I just felt like who am I?
yeah,
I thought I was not even being myself anymore. So
right.
like I would ghost her for no reason. So basically like she found like this new girl or whatever and was like bringing her around, but she was like telling me it was her friend. And so I was infuriated because I could feel the energy. You can feel, sometimes you can feel people's
Mm.
spirit on you, like something ain't right. Like I
Yeah,
could
yeah,
feel this
yeah.
person, like,
Intuition, yeah, or
closer.
discernment. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm like, and so, like, as time went on, like, a little money situation going or whatever. And so when the money came, like, it was coming to me, but we agreed to split it, right? So I was
Mm.
so infuriated that she was cheating on me, but she wasn't admitting it. But I told her like, I'm not giving you. It was $10,000. We're supposed to split it. So I said, I'm not giving you nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that just it went to shit after that. Like
Damn.
you came and just everything up, and we just fought. But I was just like, I was satisfied because my heart was broken.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
But I talked to God. He was just like, but and it's crazy because when I dated her for 2 years, but when I first started to date the girl, my sister called me. My sister's really like he's very spiritual into church. Like all my family is. I am too. I'm very in tune with God, but I just choose the wrong thing. But my sister called me when I first started to date
See,
the girl.
that's ooh. She said a lot, ladies and gentlemen. She says she's very in tune with God, but she chooses to do the wrong things. That is a double mind. You cannot serve two masters. And I think all too often you hear a lot of people say this, but failing to recognize that failing to recognize that there's only one God. There's only one God that you should be serving. Only one. And if you act consciously choose not to serve him, you are serving another God. It's just that simple. And you're a slave to the will of that God, whatever that God is, albeit a relationship, money, whatever you prioritize above the one God, the true God, that is your God. Um, here we go.
She told me, she said, this is a warning. This girl is gonna ruin your life. Leave her alone. And my sister didn't even know I was dating. Like it just came to her in a dream. She just told me like, this is your warning. Like, leave that girl alone. She's gonna destroy you. And she did. She killed my spirit.
Are you
What's your
still in
Um,
are you still in communication with this girl?
from time to time, it's
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I'm kind of lost my train of thought there. But I'm gonna say it. It's probably not gonna sit right with a lot of you guys, but I gotta say it. I noticed that a lot of people know about God, right? But they don't believe in him.
They know about them. They hear about him in church. They hear about him through the family. You know, they may even acknowledge him, but they don't believe in him. That's a difference. It's a big difference. They think God is just this cosmic Santa Claus.
It's weird. Like I talk to her like maybe once a month or something,
Is that out of guilt?
and it's out of guilt. Like cause I did go back and that's the thing. Like I be backtracking a lot. So like I'll say like this girl's evil, like and then I'll go back and be like,
Go
oh,
right
I'm
back to
sorry.
it.
You
Yeah,
know, like I
yeah.
backtrack a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So like it's days that I still think about like maybe us getting back together, and that's so fucked up because I know like he's gonna ruin me. Like it's only gonna get worse.
Right. Yeah. So it sounds like Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm
Syndrome.
Stockholm's.
You guys know
seduced by
what
your
Stockholm
captor.
syndrome is, right? Right. You guys know what the Stockholm syndrome is? If you do, put it in the chat.
And you have a desire to want to be with your abuser. So I mean,
Wow.
yeah, I know it's
Real, bro.
yeah, psychological. But do you see yourself being with a man? Can you see yourself being with a man?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said you're 24 years old. So
24
let me
years
ask you,
old, ladies and gentlemen. She's still
do
young.
you know what men want?
No. And that's the thing with men. I just have like this thing with like authority and like respecting people. It's like, I feel like men like, how can I say this? Like men like they're obviously like different from us. Like I almost look at them as like different creatures. Like so it's like I feel like with the man like they have a masculinity that like needs to be like respected in a way. Like but it's like I don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Right.
I think that's
Because
for my dad.
yeah, I was going to say that.
Not like
Yep. I was going to say that because your dad didn't establish that masculine figure for you. He didn't establish that out the gates for you.
So whenever that masculinity is not established, earlier on in life, not just girls, but young boys will go seek it out elsewhere, right? Boys typically find it in the streets. Girls, they'll find it in relationships. They'll try to find that stability and, throughout other people,
We're younger, so now it's like it's like a gaping.
Oh, thank you for
wound,
coming, Alicia.
a big
Appreciate you. Hope to hear back from you too.
a big hole, basically, a void that's in the shape of your father that no man can fill, because any man that tries to, it's like a mockery, almost like they're mocking what your dad should have been to you all along. So I mean, yeah, the spirit can do some funny things, but that's why I said it really, you're going to see a world of difference whenever you sit down with your mom and your dad and you just forgive them for you know what I'm saying, causing you to hate them, essentially, or to be angry with them. Once you do that and you overcome that, you're going to realize that God is a natural God. He's a supernatural God, but he expects us, his children, to be natural. We're supposed to abide by natural law. And, unfortunately, homosexuality is being pushed out into society now, whereas it's being kind of confused as natural. People perceiving it as natural. But as you said, there's all sorts of um, psychological depravity that goes on within that lifestyle. There's a lot of things that I think a lot of women experience what you just described, like just the fights, the fuss, the toxicity, all this stuff. It just they don't really talk about it because, you know, I don't know. I, I don't know why they don't talk about it. I think maybe that's a form of protection is not to talk about it.
It's a form of pride. You know,
Mhm.
when you say pride, like pride is not a fruit of the spirit. Like when you say gay pride, that's not a good thing. Some
Right.
people say take pride and say it's a, but pride is not good. It's never been a good thing. So um,
The downfall of the devil was pride. Yep. Ezekiel chapter
yeah,
28.
that's
Go
true.
read
So
it.
I don't understand. It's crazy because people be like, "How can you say that? You gay? Like, are you self hating?" But I'm like, well, I mean, I have to feel at the end of the day. Like that's real life. So
No, no, that's the problem. See,
I know my life
that's the
can't
thing.
go with what I'm saying, but
Yeah. See, people, I don't know why people attribute you pointing out objective moral um concerns as you self-hating. Like I don't know why they attribute that to that. That doesn't make sense to me because you can point out things and talk about discuss morality without having to be, self-hating or, or you're not part of this
I,
type of identity. I mean, you people can talk about morality. I mean, the whole notion behind this abnormal act is because it's an objection against God's natural law. So I think it's a moral discussion that can be had by everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like do you speak on your podcast like this topic? Because you should. This is a good topic.
Yeah, she does, Kim.
You know what? I tried, but you got to understand I had both the LGBTQ community as well as our beautiful black women coming at me telling me I hate my people. I'm shaming gay people. You know all the labels that they got for me the moment you start I mean, but that doesn't prevent me from continue to talk about it. It's unfortunate that you can't speak truth without the crowd, the mob coming after you for that. Yeah. They want to
Yeah,
silence you.
and it's just a lot of hurt. So a lot of hurt souls that feel attacked. So if
Yep.
the truth is, I would say so.
Like the video, guys. Like the
Real
video.
talk. Well, listen, why don't you go when you get off with me, make sure you go subscribe to my channel because
Uh
I,
oh.
I I would love to have
Look
you.
at me promoting.
Somebody I go live
Good.
Monday through Friday. I live in
Uh,
Michigan, so it's Eastern
let me see.
Standard Time. So maybe when you go subscribe to my channel, you can send me an email. You and we can
Oh
connect
yeah.
because I
Yeah.
like to see how things go for you. All right, you
Okay,
take
well, I'm gonna post.
yeah.
All right. So look, there you go. Gained a sister. Gained a sister. She was nice. I mean, she was nice. She was polite. And brave for sharing that with me. I was a total stranger. So, guys, the net of it all is that we all have had trauma inflicted on us. Okay, whether it be by our parents, by brother, siblings, our significant others, we all, in some form or fashion, have experienced some level of trauma. And all I can say is that until you forgive the offender, till you go to them and forgive them, all right, you look them dead in their eyes and say, hey, I hated you. I resented you, but I forgive you because you couldn't help yourself. Understand that they have their own internal conflict and their own internal trauma, right? And they can't help themselves. So when you the more you start to know yourself and to recognize there are things that you do that you can't help yourself, you'll be humble and have a humbled understanding and perception of other people and why they do the things they do. So get to know yourself and go forgive. All right. That's the topic of discussion tonight, guys. And I hope hope there was some value gained here. I know this is a little different than our usual scheduled program, but I felt it was necessary for us to talk about this. I hope that hope you guys liked it. Yeah, share, like the video, all that good stuff. And I wanted to say one more. Oh yeah, guys, this is I think this fit really well with Therapeutic Thursdays. How about that, right? Therapeutic Thursdays. Yeah, I'm gonna try to stay in line with the themes of the week. So I hope this was helpful. Ladies and gentlemen, you already know how we end this. We are speaking truth and reality. And I promise you, it's gonna take some time, but I promise you, we will reinstitute morality.
And you ain't black.